Welcome to Finest Work Songs. My name is Matt.
My name is also Matt. I don't know if you heard about the latest controversy. We've been talking about
Ukraine?
No, this one happened.
The Oscars?
This one happened a few nights ago. It was
The Oscars? The slap at the Oscars?
Well, there was a slap, but it was a little closer to home. Someone slapped some stickers on my car.
What stickers?
So my lovely wife, Charity, asked me, well, why'd you put that sticker on your Jeep? And I'm like, what sticker are you talking about? She's like, there's a punk rock sticker on your Jeep. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Punk rock.
Yeah, so I go out to look at it, and it's a square red and blue sticker, like strategically placed, like not just like someone drove by, let's throw a sticker on a car, like place, like
It wasn't like a drive-by slapping.
it's like a red and blue sticker with a stick figure punk dancer, and it just says punk rock on it.
You're doing something over there, but I don't know.
Yeah,
if
I'm trying to show. I look like I'm like airboxing.
Okay.
So, yeah,
That's what punk rockers do.
Yeah, she didn't even notice on the trailer hitch cover there was one that just said "Oi." So I don't know if this is like a vigilante group of punk rock ska people. It's like a weird, no doubt themed West Side Story.
Oi.
Oi. Yeah, I don't
Did someone see your Jeep and think,
know. He looks like a punk rocker and a ska fan.
punk rock Jeep?
Punk rock.
Schindler, Steven Schindler, previous guest. And
Our
also
first guest. Our
first
first guest. Yeah.
the artist who created our logo.
Yep.
Someone threw a sticker on his car.
It wasn't a weird punk rock.
No, it was something like, gosh, what was it? It was Creed or something.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, some crappy
Wait a second.
band.
One of the only similarities between Steven Schindler and me is you. So I'm just, putting two and two
I
together.
have always wanted you to be more punk rock, Matt.
You're not the first.
That's true. He thought it was one of his students. I don't know where they get their hands on a Creed sticker.
They're not just like flying around everywhere these days, I can't imagine.
No, because they're in such hot demand.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. You got to go on eBay. Pay a pretty penny for a Creed sticker.
All right. Well, Matt, I hope you figure out the mystery. Or I hope you fall in love with punk rock.
Maybe that's all I needed. I needed this last little nudge to get into punk rock.
Good luck. Next time we'll see when we do the Ramones or something.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know much about punk rock.
Dead Kennedys?
Sure.
Despite awful people out there throwing stickers on cars, we are blessed to have really, really good listeners and fans. And sometimes Finest Work fans will send us emails where you're pouring your hearts out to us. Maybe you're asking us some deep questions that you're trying to find meaning for. And occasionally we like to read some of these emails in a little segment we call Kenny Gmail. This Kenny Gmail comes in reference to our Michael Jackson Thriller epipod.
Ooh, taking it
season
back.
1, like third epipod?
Yeah.
This comes to us from, the email is ethenny@ourmail.xyz, which I think sounds completely legit. So
Yeah.
that sounds
Yeah.
good. Ethenny's email is, Cialis, preparing before the procedure. Explain the procedure in correct medical terms and tell your adolescent why the test is being done. I guess it's good to have that conversation with your adolescent.
What is Cialis again? I'm going to look it up. Oh, I'm not telling my kids about this. Well, first of all, I'm not doing it, Matt.
Well,
But if I were,
if you are, yeah.
they're saying we should tell our
Be
kids.
open, be honest with especially your adolescent.
When you get to be a certain age like we are, Matt, you have to make some decisions
Yep.
regarding your body and health, right?
Sure.
I had a physical recently.
Okay.
It was fine. But he mentioned that I needed to get checked for colon cancer.
Sure.
And that means Cologuard.
I've heard about this.
Basically, he was like, hey, we can do this really intrusive, gross procedure, or you could go Cologuard. And I was
Okay.
like, I'm going to take number 2.
Yeah. So number 2, that's me pooping on paper, right?
Pretty much. By number 2, what they meant is they send you a box and you poop in a container.
Sure.
Is this going to go in there, you think?
Yeah, why not?
I mean, train's left the station.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I won't get into the details.
I think you already did.
I'll just tell you 2 things about that. The next day, I'm holding a box, and then one of my daughters walks in and goes, oh, is that Cologuard? Thanks, TV.
Yeah.
For all the commercials.
Yeah, right.
Because she saw that little box of the commercial. The second thing, I go to the UPS store downtown. I'm just hoping to drop this thing off and get out of there, right?
Yep.
there's a line of 10 people. The Cologuard logo is huge on two sides of it. And so one side's against my body. The other side, I have two hands holding like it's
gosh.
like a precious, box. But instead, I'm just trying to cover up this symbol. And I walk in and I'm kind of spinning around like, where's the end of the line? And what am I doing? And the guy at the front he just says, you dropping that off? And so I go up there and kind of set it down and just look down in shame
Like,
or whatever.
do not make eye contact.
Don't ask me what's in the box. You know what's in the box. We're not going to talk about what's in the box.
I picture you in line, just like, yep, just dropping this off for my wife. just bringing this up. The receptacle that you do this in.
Yeah.
On one hand, I'm picturing like a tiny little like test tube, and you're like, wait, I got to do that. I'm guessing it's a little more manageable than that.
It's like half a gallon of milk size. I mean, it's like it's wide, it's deep, and they said something to the effect of, "Don't fill it up." Essentially, it was like,
and you're like, "Oh, that sounds like a dare to me."
You should not put in more than can hold. And I look at this thing, I'm like, who on earth can do that? Anyway, the guy was just like, "You have a nice day." I was like, "Yeah, let me get out of here." I couldn't have recognized Cologuard. My daughter, is that Cologuard? Gosh, stupid advertising. Anyway, what were we talking about?
I don't care. This is great.
Matt, I understand we have a special guest today.
I'm very excited today that we have, as our guest, calling in remotely for the first time, is my youngest niece, Allison Medlin.
Okay, let's give it a go.
All right. Hello.
Hey.
Hey, Allison, that's Matt.
Hi, Allison.
Hi, Matt.
Welcome to the podcast.
I'm excited.
Where are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from New Bern, North Carolina. I live in Asheville, but I'm here for a little while.
Very cool.
Allison, we're so glad to have you with us today. So what album are we going to be talking about today on the podcast?
We're going to be talking about Punisher by Phoebe Bridgers, which is her sophomore album. It came out in July of 2020.
Baby, it's Halloween, and we can be anything. Oh, come on, man.
I'm excited to be talking about this, Allison, and glad that we have you here. We always like to start with our memories. So what is your experience and memory with Phoebe Bridgers?
So my first memory of Phoebe Bridgers was in 2015. She had a 3-song EP come out, and I found it randomly on Spotify. And I remember just being kind of floored with the music and how she wrote her songs. And then when Punisher came out, I remember just like, it was in the middle of the height of COVID in 2020. So I remember just driving around for hours in my college town, just listening to Punisher, just kind of becoming obsessed in like a fun, cool way.
So you liked Phoebe ahead of time, so you know that it wasn't the pandemic, but how much did that album dropping in the midst of such a crazy time have an impact?
I listened to a lot of music during that time because like I felt like it was one of the only ways to like connect with people and like talk about music. When that album came out, me and my friends had like a listening party on Zoom, and like same thing with Taylor Swift's Folklore. Like I think it was a great way to connect with people and talk about something new, but also to like connect with the music itself.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Very timely and kind of her to drop that album. I mean, she didn't know it was coming. She worked on it. Didn't she work on it for like a year and a half or something? Like a long time?
She worked on it for a year and a half, like right after. So her first album, Stranger in the Alps, came out. She released Stranger in the Alps, and then she worked on a collaborative album with Lucy Dacus and Julian Baker called Boy Genius. And then she worked with Connor Oberst from The Bright Eyes for Better Oblivion Community Center. And during those 2 times, she was working on Punisher. I had been waiting for the album. I had it in my calendar that Punisher was going to come out on like July 17th or July 19th. I can't remember exactly. And then she was like, oh, here it is, actually.
Yeah.
So I remember like I had a meeting that I had scheduled, and I was like, okay, let's wrap it up. I have to go. I have another meeting. But I didn't. I just had to go listen to the album.
You had a meeting with destiny.
That's right.
Exactly.
Bad thing is now those people know that. that was the real reason.
Oh, they're listening.
They
They're
knew
listening.
very soon because we had a meeting the next day and they were like, well, how is Phoebe Bridgers?
How's Phoebe doing?
And I was like, she's great. She's sad. But
Right. All right, Matt, what's your memory?
What I remember is watching SNL and seeing this girl who I thought, oh, she could be like Kristen Bell's angsty younger sister, you know, and she's got the sort of Cobra Kai skeleton onesie on,
Yeah.
but yet she's doing these emo music. Then her logo looks like a death metal logo.
Right.
Then she's smashing a guitar.
Yeah.
I'm like, what in
Right?
the world is going on here? So it was just intriguing to see that. And quite honestly, I mean, until this week, I mean, this is the first time I've like dived into the full album. So
Cool.
yeah, looking forward to talking about it.
I'm glad you brought up the SNL guitar smash.
Let's talk about that. Allison, what was your reaction to the guitar smash? And why was it such a big deal? Why are people like making such a big deal of it?
I don't know.
Right? Okay. I feel like I could write a thesis on the guitar smash. I don't know why people got so upset. I think there's something to be said that it was kind of surprising in a way. Like I can understand that like a shorter, tiny woman just picked up a guitar and like smashed it and it didn't break at first. And then like she just kept smashing it over and over again. So I get that that was like surprising, but I've grown up listening to music where that was kind of like the norm for some, like they would just smash a guitar on stage and like it'd be cool. And
Yeah.
I just think a lot of people were surprised watching her outtakes for recording I Know the End. Like she's just in a studio screaming at the end of it. And so it's like, yeah, she could smash a guitar. Yeah.
Yeah, because like Arcade Fire, he smashed a guitar a couple years ago. No one cared. Is there a thing with it has to match the perceived angst? Like if you're a punk rock band, no one's going to go, well, they smashed a guitar.
Yeah.
I just never understood the logic or lack thereof, I guess.
Yeah. Like I said, to me, it seemed weird. Not weird in like, she shouldn't be doing that, but it was like the song up until that point where she starts screaming is pretty mellow. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a heavy metal song, but then she's got that guttural scream going. And so to smash a guitar seemed in character with that part of the song.
I saw a lot of people just mad that she would smash a guitar because it was expensive or like because the guitars cost money.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, you wouldn't be mad at like a big heavy metal band. So like,
Yeah.
what is the difference? And also like, I think the guitar wasn't the most expensive guitar in the world.
And she clearly saved money on the outfits for the rest of the band. They were all just wearing the Halloween onesie
Yeah.
at that point.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, which she said she got from Amazon. It was a Dan
That's
Electro
awesome.
guitar. Matt, you know Dan
Yeah,
Electro.
yeah,
They're cheap. They're
Yep.
known for being cheap.
Right.
They were brought back just because it was like a kitschy type thing.
Yeah.
What are they like? Oh, they're starving kids who need guitars. You know, like I will say it's not easy to smash a guitar. At the end of college, I was in the 80s cover band. We had an acoustic and it was a classical. We didn't care. And I don't even know who owned it, but it was permission to smash.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And man, I jumped up as high as I could. I'm talking like reared it back behind my head and brought it down with all the force I could on the side, and it did not break.
It bounced back and hit you in the
Pretty
face.
much, yeah. I had to keep
Oh, wow.
savagely
Yeah.
smashing it. But my first thought was like, are you kidding me? Like, it's wood, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Exactly.
Phoebe for smashing a guitar.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Yeah. Well, let's jump in. This is track number 2, Garden Song.
Someday I'm gonna live in your house up on the hill. And when your skinhead neighbor goes missing, I'll plant a garden in the yard. Then they're gluing roses on a flatbed. You should see it, I mean thousands. I grew up here till it all went up in flames, except the notches in the door frame. I don't know when you got taller. See our reflection in the water off a bridge at the Huntington. I hopped the fence when I was 17. Then I knew what I wanted.
This is the first one that you heard?
Yeah, it was the first one that I heard, and I could kind of tell that it would set the tone for what the album was going to be, and I really loved it.
So from Stranger in the Alps and Boy Genius and Better Bolivian Community Center, like, did it feel like a trajectory toward this, or did it feel like something brand new?
It felt a little more angsty and less angsty at the same time. Stranger in the Alps had a specific brand of like a very emotional, like slower, kind of drawn out songs. I think Punisher has the specific brand of like being a little upbeat sometimes, but also like still being like really sad and angsty, which like who doesn't love that?
Yeah.
Like she's singing about a garden being built basically from like hatred and like murder. So it's like Kyoto, which I think we're going to talk about in a second, but it's like a really like upbeat, like you're singing along and you're having fun. And then you like think about the lyrics and you're like, oh yeah, cool. That's not the album as a whole, I feel like, but that's kind of how it starts, is just like upbeat rage, feminine rage. Yeah.
Yeah. So when Stranger in the Alps came out, a lot of hype. For whatever reason, kind of where I was, I just couldn't get into it. I was really into Boy Genius. I thought that the three of them was great.
Yeah.
But man, Punisher from the get-go, there's something different about this one. I think part of it is the production and the arrangements. There's more to it. This is a headphone album.
Yep, absolutely.
So, listeners, I know y'all usually like gather your family around like a boombox or something and listen, you know. But you need headphones for, not for Matt and I's voice, but for this album, especially this song. It feels like her voice and the guitar's coming in and out, and there's like that weird sort of pulsy type. I don't even know what that is. It sounds amazing.
I kind of agree with The Stranger in the Alps. The first song I listened to was Smoke Signals, which is one of my favorite songs of all time. But this album, like the way it progresses, is so different than Punisher. And I think I am more used to and like kind of enjoy more the style of Punisher when I'm listening to albums, like kind of like you said, like the lushness and like the instrumentals. Like that's more of like my particular like favorite kind of music.
Let's listen to a little bit of Smoke Signals.
You must have been looking for me, sending smoke signals, pelicans circling, burning trash out on the beach.
It reminds me of Wilco, Summer Teeth to Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. It feels like more holistic, where you've got the sounds and the production that are matching perfectly, sort of like weaving in and out. Like the feeling of the lyrics influence the feeling of the sounds, not even just the melodies, but the sounds, and vice versa, which is interesting too, because it's one artist.
Right.
She's got a band, she's got a ton of collaborators, but it's not like, oh, this band is developing. It's like, no, she's developing her songs, but also everyone around her. Yeah, there's something amazing that developed between Stranger in the Alps and Punisher, because Punisher's so special.
I finally watched the video for this yesterday. I won't show my kids the video yet. I know. The warning pops up and it's like, you know, for mature audiences or something. And you're thinking, okay, well, it's probably got like lots of flashing lights for, you know, people who are prone to seizures. Like, oh, no, that's not why. What's your take on that video? It's all kind of laid bare. I mean, it's all out there for everyone to see, for sure.
They said it's for very mature audiences. It's hard because I want like everyone to listen to her music, and I don't want anyone to like be
put off by anything.
And like, because I think, I don't think like fifth graders would like enjoy it as much as like I do and like my friends do. I don't know. I think that's what, like when I was talking to my parents, I talked to them about Phoebe Bridgers all the time, which isn't their favorite thing, but it's my favorite thing. Right before my surgery a few weeks ago, we were almost late because I was buying Phoebe Bridgers tickets.
Doctors love that stuff when you're like late for a surgery because you're buying concert tickets.
It was okay because then I had to wait in the waiting room for 3 hours. So like I think we averaged it out, but I was right on time, so it wasn't a big deal. But my parents were like, we should probably go. for surgery that you've been needing for like 4 years. And I was like, hold on. Obviously, a friend could have bought them, but I didn't trust anyone.
That's a big thing. That's a big decision. You can't.
Didn't have like the super like mega fan. Ticketmaster emailed me and was like basically I could tell from like the level of like fan of Phoebe Bridgers that I am. They were like, hey, we know that you didn't buy tickets last time. What's up?
That's
Why?
awesome.
Here's the fan code to purchase the tickets before everyone.
And the code was just Allison. It was just your name.
Allison,
Yeah.
please. It's really embarrassing that you haven't gone yet, and yet you listened to Moonsong 450 times last year. Like, what's going on?
Where are you going to see Phoebe?
Atlanta. I'm really excited.
Nice.
nice.
I'm taking my daughter to see her in D.C. Former guest Dwayne Davis, our Bob Dylan expert.
Yep.
He took his daughter, and he tried to get me to come down last minute, I think, because there was a ticket, or I don't know, but I didn't feel like it. Because I was like, I'm not going to stand there and hang out with you and your daughter. Like, that's a special moment, right?
Yeah, right.
But he said that it was just dads in the back, young girls in the front.
Exactly.
Because it's true, man. Aside from my daughter, I would be listening to Phoebe Bridgers. You know, so she reaches different
That's
generations.
interesting. Yeah.
It's similar to that, when Folklore came out, oh my gosh, this is the perfect daddy-daughter date. It's the National, which dads love,
Right.
and then Taylor.
Yep.
And so Phoebe's got it all.
Who dads also love. Correct.
So Allison, Taylor Swift has the Swifties. What does Phoebe have? Like, is there a name?
The Farbs. And it's a play on, great question, by the way. It's a play on the Nicki Minaj fans, the Barbs, like the Barbies.
Okay.
There was a few other things, but I think that's the one that like sticks the most. Like it's
Barb.
with like a Z on the end normally. I think that's really specific,
I like that.
Yeah.
right?
Day off in Kyoto, got bored at the temple, looked around at the 7-Eleven. The band took the speed train, went to the arcade. I wanted to go, but I didn't. You called me from a payphone, they still got payphones. It cost $1 a minute to tell me you're getting sober. And you wrote me a letter, but I don't have to read it.
My favorite thing about the song is the woo,
Yep.
and how it
Yeah.
changes. Because there's like at least 3 versions of the song on Spotify. All the woos are just different, and I love it.
That's cool.
How are they different? Are they? I mean, because this one's like, almost like a
There's some-
throwaway woo,
Yeah.
but it's so good.
There's one that's just like a hum. It's so emotional for some reason. It's just like a really soft noise. And in SNL, she was just like, woo.
So this video, this was a little more easier to swallow than the Garden Song.
I could show my kids this video.
Yeah,
they
and
would
go,
think
this
they
is what
think it's
videos
fun.
used to look like.
Again, as someone who didn't know a lot of Phoebe Bridgers before this, I want more of this. Like, I love
Yeah.
Kyoto. Like, I mean, it's just so catchy. But then Allison, like you said earlier, like the fact that it's lyrically, content-wise, it's a pretty dark song.
I was talking to my parents last night, and I was like, yeah, like one of my favorite songs is Kyoto. And then my mom, you might know her, she's your sister. She was like, what's it about? I was then like nonchalantly, I was like, oh, it's about her dad and how she hates him. And then my parents were like, why do you love that song so much? Like, is everything okay with us? Like, yeah, it's just a really catchy, fun song. They listen to it and the chorus going like, I want to kill you. And they're like, yeah, it's fun. It's cute. This is so angry, but it's fun.
I love when artists can do that. They're not hitting you over the head with the anger and the darkness, but they're wrapping it up in a way that's you have to think about a little bit.
The opposite of love, I don't know that it's hate. I think it's indifference. And that burns much more.
Yep.
And she is full of indifference. I mean, the way she's singing this song about her dad, who she can't stand, in a manner that's just like lighthearted with great melodies. She's almost nonchalant in her indifference. With my little brother, he said you called on his birthday. You were off by like 10 days, but you get a few points for trying. Man,
So dismissive.
if I was the dad, that would, oof, man.
Yeah.
That burns much more than just like a yelling at somebody.
Yeah.
So this was up for Best Rock Song and Best Rock Performance
Not best rock video.
at the Grammys.
She was up for 4 Grammys and then won none. But then she posted a picture of herself holding nothing. And then she was like, me holding all my Grammys. I was surprised on some levels that she didn't win Best New Artist. But
Yeah.
Fiona Apple had released an album the same year. And Fiona Apple's album was also wonderful. And I was like, that's fair. Okay.
I didn't know if the Farbs were like up in
Oh,
arms
boy.
against the Grammys. The Scammies.
One of my favorite Farbs, Elton John, was like, I'm going to be really mad if Phoebe doesn't win a Grammy. And I was like, same. Then for like a day, I was like, well, her music transcends like normal like award shows or something dumb. And then I was like, well, she'll win one day.
Yeah. The Best Rock Performance for that year, it was all female artists who were nominated, which is the first time ever. Also up were Haim, which went to the same high school that she did.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. She went to the Los Angeles County High School for the Arts. Other notable alumni,
Okay, let's hear it.
besides Haim, Josh Groban,
Your favorite?
Anthony Anderson,
Okay.
Blackish,
Blackish.
And more.
Yep.
But he's hilarious. Taron Killam
Yep, from SNL.
from SNL.
Yep.
Yep. He's really funny. How do you say it? Kahind Wiley, the guy who did the Obama portraits,
Oh, yeah.
like that artist.
The artist, yeah.
Which he also has some things at the North Carolina Museum of Art.
Does he?
Yep. Gosh, can you imagine that high school?
The drama? I'm so jealous I didn't go there.
Gosh,
The
like
talent show?
Oh, the talent show. Gosh. I wonder, like, at their cafeteria. Most high schools, at least when we were growing up, Matt, it was like, the jocks were at that table, the
Yeah.
nerds over there, and the drama kids. It's just all drama kids. It's like a cafeteria full of drama kids.
Yeah. All right. Next track we're going to cover is Chinese Satellite.
I've been running around in circles, pretending to be myself. Why would somebody do this on purpose when they could do something else? Drowning out the morning birds with the same 3 songs over and over. I wish I wrote it, but I didn't, so I learned the words. Hum along till the feeling's gone forever. Took a tour to see the stars, but they weren't out tonight. So I wished hard on a Chinese satellite. I want to believe. Instead I look at the sky and I feel nothing. You know I hate to be alone. I want to be wrong.
Was that Mittens I heard in the background?
Oh, yeah. He is being
That's her cat.
drama
I'm not
today.
going to lie. Mittens is a lot easier to deal with over these recordings than Kiwi, your bird.
Oh, well, yeah. Kiwi was like, oh, you're recording?
Right.
Time for me to get crazy.
There's something about this song that, like, I think this was the first song that, like, really emotionally hit me. Mm-hmm. Something about
Oh,
the way.
I sobbed.
Yeah. She hits you full force, man. It's not just lyrics.
I had to pull over in my car. Well, because then Moon Song, I can't even. Oh my god. But we'll get. But this song, like, I think because when it came out during COVID, I misheard the last lyric in the chorus. I thought it was belong instead of be wrong at first, and I was like, "Aw, yeah." So do I. Like, I feel like I felt
Yeah.
so. I was living alone. I was working from home. It was just like a really like solitary like time in my life and so many people's lives, and the whole song is just like kind of about like doubt and like it just made me really emotional.
What's the song about?
Chinese satellites, Matt.
Oh, yeah, I should have guessed that. She's so literal.
It's kind of about religion and like with like the evangelical like comment like later in the song. Like, I looked at the sky and I feel nothing. I want to be wrong. Like, I think there's something to be said of wanting to like believe something's out there, but like not knowing and like doubting it, feeling kind of like alone in that, but also feeling you like want to like go home. Like, that's the end of the song says like you want to like have a community, but like you're so like filled with doubt all the time too.
Gotcha.
Just really beautifully said. She said, I want to believe. I want to be wrong. She's like, I want to look up at the sky and see a tractor beam come and take me home. Like, I want to. That's a vulnerable thing to sing. You know, and I was thinking too, when you were talking, Allison, about where you were and being alone and it being this time and this song hitting, I think that this is kind of the perfect album for that mood of COVID because none of us were yelling. Well, there were a lot of people yelling. Matt, you were yelling at that cat in the meme. Was that you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But it was more like we were exhausted, but still really feeling things deeply and frustrated and angry. There's a weariness that she sings.
Yeah.
We've talked about this a lot, Matt, where an album or an artist will give voice to your emotions. That's what I'm hearing, Allison, you say, that this album kind of really captured where you were in that time.
Definitely.
Let's get to Moon Song because I want to hear, Allison, you love this one, and so we got to hear this one.
You asked to walk me home, but I had to carry you. And you pushed me in, and now my feet can't touch the bottom of you. You couldn't have. You couldn't have stuck your tongue down the throat of somebody who loves you more. So I will wait for the next time you want me, like a dog with a bird at your door. We hate tears in heaven, but it's sad that his baby died.
Did
Yeah.
she catch any grief for the Tears in Heaven line? That's pretty cold.
Eric hasn't aged well, man. The racist comments that
Well,
he's
yeah.
made
Yeah,
and that
that's
he
true.
has never rescinded or apologized
Right,
for.
right.
People on in on old man Eric.
Yeah, it's like a way of like getting her like anger and hatred across of like uncondonable actions with like being kind of like calm about it, kind of like I feel like if she was just like I hate Eric Clapton, people would have but gotten even angrier, but she was like really specific.
That's very specific.
I don't know. It didn't bother me when I heard it. I was just like, oh, wow. But for us, like, we remember when he was huge and that album was huge and he was beloved, you know? So maybe it's similar when I talk about, like, hating the Eagles. People are like, oh, the Eagles? What's wrong with the Eagles? Like, they're like, what's wrong with Eric Clapton?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, his kid did die.
That was sad. She said it was sad.
No, that's true. Okay, good on her. Good on you, Phoebe.
Yeah.
I love this song.
What is it about this one? Is this your favorite on the album?
Just saying favorite on the album doesn't do it justice in my brain. It's in my top 3 favorite songs of all time.
Okay.
That's awesome.
On my like Spotify rap thing, it's one of my proudest moments. I was in like the top 0.01% of Phoebe Bridgers listeners, which should be no surprise to you guys, I guess.
That's
but,
impressive.
So you are truly a
right? I feel
farb.
like I deserve an award. I listened to Moon Song, like I think it said 450 times.
That's awesome.
I was like, oh, that's probably really normal. Like, that's a really normal amount of time to listen to a song. Like, that's a whole year. Then my friend showed me her Spotify Wrapped, and her most listened to song had been played like 61 times. And I was like, maybe I overdid it. This song just captures having so much like love for another person who in your head, you know, like they'll never feel the exact same way. But you can't do anything about it. It makes me cry every time I listen to it. Not every time, because like if I'm like driving around and
that would
like
be 460 sometimes crying.
Yeah, I didn't cry that many times last year, I don't think. But the like lyric of like, so I'll wait by the door with like the bird. I'm misremembering the exact lyric, but like only time she like mentions like the moon in itself, like if I could give you the moon, then I would give you the moon. Like a very like obvious like knee-jerk reaction. Oh, whatever you want, that's totally fine, I'll do it. It makes me sad for her, and it also makes me sad for like anytime I've experienced that in myself, so it caused like a lot of like reflection. But no, I went a little overboard listening to it because a lot of like my friends and boyfriend, they just all know it's a really sad song about like not being like loved. It's kind of like with Kyoto and my parents, they were like, are you okay?
I mean, I think that's the beauty of a really good songwriter is if they can produce and create something that you can feel throughout your body and you know 100% relate to, even if it's not completely relatable to what you're going through.
Yeah.
So you can't talk about Phoebe without talking about Elliott Smith.
Right.
That's from her. That was something that I sort of, you know, if you're of our age, Matt, you hear her immediately, you think of Elliott Smith because you're like, oh, she's double tracking her vocals in that soft way and in the sloppy double track, not the real tight. I say sloppy in a intentional,
right? And
the acoustics and the, you know, she goes so far to say, if someone doesn't like his music, I actually feel like I'm not going to agree with them about anything. She is no joke about Elliott Smith.
Yeah.
Allison, did this lead you to explore his music?
I had listened to Elliott Smith before I listened to Phoebe Bridgers. Between the Bars is one of my like favorite songs ever as well. So I think I listened to a lot more Elliott Smith once I like kind of became a farb, to use it again. And I'm glad I listened to him before like this exact lens, because I felt like I was able to appreciate it by myself without like having to like bandwagon like someone.
I mean, obviously you're really tuned into music, but in general, do folks your age, is he an artist that people know about?
My fellow like sad friends, yes.
Okay, yeah. All right, last song we're going to cover is I Know the End.
Driving out into the sun, let the ultraviolet cover me up. Went looking for a creation myth, ended up with a pair of cracked lips. Windows down, scream along to some America First rap country song. A slaughterhouse, an outlet mall, slot machines, fear of God. Windows down, heater on, big bolt of lightning hanging low over the coast. Everyone's
This one was a slow burner to me.
Yeah.
Again, it was the one watching SNL when she's smashing stuff up, and there's so many movements to the song too. I love a song that takes you on like a journey like that, and so it's grown on me for sure.
Alison, where's this one for the Farbs?
Obsessed. But it's a perfect end to an album, I think, because it ends with "the end is here" and or "the end is near."
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's such a beautiful song that really encapsulates kind of the way the album should end, with it's less covered up anger. It's just yelling, it's the full on screaming, the way her anger and her indifference, like you said in Kyoto, it's she's not indifferent anymore, or she's not chill about it anymore. She's just mad.
She's letting it out.
Yeah.